2 decades, 10,189 leads, and Virginia State Police say they are still looking for the man who tried to stop 20 or more women along the highway.
Disappearances in that region over the past 2 decades.
Was found murdered in rural Culpeper.
It's been over 20 years since St. Cloud native Julie Williams and Lolly Winans of Unity, Maine were found murdered in the Virginia
It's a horrific crime, a particularly grisly crime.
They called the killer the Route 29 stalker.
From O3 Films and Watts Creative Studios, this is Route 29 Stalker, and I'm your host, Woody Watts. I'm heading back to Culpeper, and for the first time, I can't describe the feeling I have. It's a mix of excitement and fear, and I have no idea what I'm about to walk into. I'm about to go into a house I've never been in before, full of local people that I don't know, that lived here during that time and actually want to talk, that want the truth told, the guilty caught, and closure for several families. Not only do they want to solve Alicia's case, there are several other cases that I had no idea about that could be linked. I feel like I've opened a box with 100 other boxes in it, and I have to open them all. Wouldn't you? I have to know. The person helping me and rallying others to talk? Local real estate agent Kathy Campbell. I sent her a message on Facebook late one night, and she immediately wanted to help solve these cases. So, I'm here, in Culpeper, equipment in hand, stomach in knots, heartbroken for the families, but now, more than ever, ready to help.
Hello,
Kathy. How are you?
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
What a beautiful day, right?
Where did you park it?
Is it okay? I parked over.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
beautiful.
It used to not be like this. This used to be kind of like the hood, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was funny. I ran into this. You want something to drink? I got water, Red Bull, Diet Cokes. So I think what I'll do is we can sit in the living room here and I make people feel comfortable.
Okay.
I've been bombarded.
Really?
with-
Oh, that's great.
I've gotten
That's
this
good, right?
one lady. Yeah. So go ahead and sit in there.
Okay. All right.
It
It didn't take long at all until we were talking about the case. Or, as I was about to find out, cases.
Town Culpeper has changed so much since I've been here. When I first came here, I was like, I grew up in Illinois, so like we had the best restaurants and all that. Like there was nothing in Culpeper. I felt like, there's a couple of restaurants now. It's really grown. We have a lot more diversity though. Like there's a lot of transfers. So I think from 2005 to where we are now. It is 2005 was really good old boy network. I couldn't imagine 1996 when all these murders happened was probably you look at cases and that. Well, and I never really looked at much of it until probably about 5-6 years ago. Like the Sherry Werner. I remember in 2000, 'cause that was in 2000. Geez, I can't remember. What was it? 2000? Was it 2005? Was when? So it was right when I moved here. Was when that happened. Because my mom and my parents were like, get out of that damn town. They're like, people are dying and all that. I'm like, whatever. And they said the Route 29 stalker. And then so I did some research and stuff like that. And then I moved here, and you know, it never really bothered me. This town, like I said, though, like now I feel safe. I just say that because it's really changed a lot. Now my parents came and saw me when I lived here 2008, and they're like, "You live in the hood," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And that because we didn't have these businesses and all that, and supposedly downtown was kind of a rough area. Like you didn't go down there, but now if you went down there, it's totally different. It's a tourist area. I mean, we keep getting rated for being the top small town in America and that, which is awesome. So I think in some ways that people don't want to bring up these cold case murder scenes because they have this fear that tourists won't come to our town. And that really irks me because I've never it's not like, I just went to Boston, Massachusetts, and went to Seattle. There's murders that happen there. Did that stop me from going there? And I think people need to get over that. Like, we need some closure because I think the killer's still out there, to tell you the truth. I do think, though, like I said, I posted on Facebook about a week ago when you reached out, and quite a few women have come forward. It's funny, not one man came forward to talk about it, which I think, I don't know, maybe men don't really want to talk about more on social media or something. Maybe that's it. But the women actually.
That's interesting, though. That's
not one. But when I ran into 2 town police officers today, they wanted to talk about it like you wouldn't believe. But I think because it was one-on-one. In fact, they encouraged me about starting a page. He even said, I'm going to find you right now. And the other guy, he's on my Facebook page, and he goes, "Oh, Kathy, you'll get..." And I said, I don't want to do it to try to do a detective's job, by no means. I think they already got enough on their plate because there's too many cold case murder scenes that are in this area. That's what blows me away for such a small town. I mean, it'd be interesting, and that's the ones we know about. What about the ones we don't know about? Where people don't report people missing.
So when the name, the route or Route 29 stalker comes up, like, does it still come up, or is it still talked about, or is it
all the time?
Really?
Yep. As soon as I said that to the guys, they said 29 stalker, constantly. Yeah, they talk about it a lot. In fact, they kid around. In fact, the police officer today, he said, "I always kid around with my daughter and say, watch out, that 29 stalker's out." I'm not kidding you. That's what he said. I'm like, well, that's not something to joke about, man. Like, that's terrible. And this is a guy that was a kid when this happened. You know what I mean? He wasn't, so he's telling this to his kids and that. But that's what's scary is, okay, so say if this is the same guy that did it in 96 and then did it in 2005. Okay, he waited 9 years. Well, we're 13 years away. What if he strikes again? Someone knows him and someone's protecting him or something. Is the way I feel.
Wait, what? There are names and cases that I hadn't even heard of before. And trust me, we're going to come back to this. Then, we had another person stop by the house. One of the ladies that had reached out to Kathy on Facebook. And, well, she shared this.
Heard on the news that she was missing. Everybody was kind of on edge, and then eventually, I don't remember how long it was afterwards, they had found her body, and it was not far from where we lived. So we were commuting up Route 3. We were heading, into town a lot, and so we would drive right by the site where her body had been found. So we had 2 young girls at the time, and we were all scared to death. I think everybody was on edge. Everybody I knew was on edge. The sketch was out there. Everybody knew somebody who looked like that sketch. So it was the Monday after the weekend where she went missing, and the sketch was out, if I remember all the timeline correctly. And I was working at a clinic, and we had student nurses come through all the time. And I believe usually they came from Germanna, so I assume this guy came from Germanna. So there was a guy who came to the clinic that Monday morning, and he walked in, and we were like, holy crap, look at that guy. We were all scared to death of him because he looked so much like the drawing. So this was in Orange County. So you know, we were just kind of observing him and all. He was the kind of guy who, like, when you talk to him, he didn't really look at you, and he was just very distant and removed and creepy. And he also had wounds on the side of his face, on one side of his face, yeah. And if I remember correctly, it was the left side of his face. And he just seemed really shifty. And so we always were suspicious that that might be him. We called the police because he looked so much like the drawing. And they sent a plainclothes guy over, and he actually went through the clinic, and we weighed him and measured him, and, you know, that kind of stuff. And he checked him out, and then I don't know what happened after that.
All right, so describe, like, so he was there.
Observing clinic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a student.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
because he was like in a midlife career change. So, and then several months, maybe a couple years later, I ran into him again. Still to this day, wherever I am, it doesn't matter if I ever see a black truck and it has that green, like kind of like a lightning flash thing or stripe on the side, I get freaked out and I check the guy. I can't help it. It's like a reflex. It still affects you because you know there's a family out there that has not had closure to this case, and you know that person is still out there, and you wonder, are they doing this somewhere else, or if they're still around here, why aren't they still doing it? What stopped them? I still think about it, so that tells you something. You would think at some point he would slip up and his photo would be out there, or his DNA would show up, or something. With as high tech as things are now, you would think something would give. So we're still all waiting for that day when something matches up. So I guess you found yourself looking around all the time to see if you could see him in a crowd or in the cars next to you or whatever.
Who is Sherry Warner? Who was the guy at the clinic? As you can imagine, my heart and head at this time are racing. I have so many questions that I don't know where to go from here. Like I've said all along, I'm not an investigator. I have 1,000 theories right now, and all of them are speculative. How do you find the truth, though? How do you help these families after hearing this stuff? Are these rabbit holes that the police have already been down? Or are people now starting to feel comfortable about talking about this dark time? Then, not long after this, I had this message waiting for me at the studio.
Hey Woody, this is Megan Frederick. I'm the past Commonwealth attorney from Culpeper. I recently heard your podcast on the Route 29. I think we should talk.
For more information about this podcast and what we've found regarding the Route 29 stalker, visit route29stalker.com, route29stalker.com. As we investigate this, we will be releasing all the information we gather on this website. We also have discussion boards. Thanks for listening. Meet us back here for the next episode.